Hi all, I wanted to talk to you guys about my project titled Yearly Permafrost Thaw Monitor. So I wanted to give a brief overview of my topic. In general, I want to write some code that'll take in a CSV file that was downloaded from previously installed borehole thermistors and then plot that data over the years of that borehole's existence to show how the permafrost has changed over time. If that looks good, there doesn't seem to be any problems, it tends to follow the data pretty well, then I will try to extrapolate that trend to future years. It should be noted that I have a bunch of sites near Barrow that I have previously done work on in Excel, so I would like to test the code on that because I know what it should look like based on what I've done so far. So there's some big key reasons as to why. Obviously, the climate change impact, we see that as permafrost thaw occurs and speeds up, then we're seeing larger amounts of greenhouse gases emitted. So being able to track how an area like Barrow is seeing permafrost thaw speed up, or the rate that it's going, if we can extrapolate that into the future, we can see what we might expect for greenhouse gas emissions in the future. Infrastructure stability is a pretty big one as well. With land subsidence, we want to make sure that things like roads and pipelines and other critical structures aren't experiencing a ton of damage due to shifting. Additionally, vegetation and habitats are changing. As that changes, that decreases biodiversity. Indigenous communities rely heavily on permafrost for access to hunting grounds and gathering grounds, and so the thaw can disrupt cultural practices. And then finally, this can help understand feedback loops in the climate a little bit, as well as providing a framework for integrating this into models. So I'd mentioned it briefly before, but my goal is to take in data from multiple CSV files. Each CSV file is one site for the borehole. For example, in Barrow, there's about 15 sites. So we have about 15 different CSV files, and then use a very simple model to produce a plot of how the depth of permafrost thaw has changed over the years. And then obviously I intend to extrapolate that to future years as long as all goes well. So why code? I have been doing a lot of work on this in Excel, and it is incredibly time consuming. I've been finding that code is way easier to reproduce and it happens quicker. It can be very easily regenerated or modified and then rerun. The flexibility in the customization for the plots themselves is unmatched in Matplotlib. You're pretty limited in Excel. The ability for it to handle large data sets is definitely better than Excel. I mean, as you all know, the more points that you have in Excel, the longer the sheet, and the longer you are dragging the new column. And finally, it's super easy to share this code between people, and it's easy to reuse across different projects or even different data sets for cities. Finally, I wanted to go over a brief outline of my code. I'm going to start by defining a directory where this data from the CSV files can be stored, and then I'm going to read that temperature data for each site, and then put that temperature data into a simulation loop that iterates through each year at each site. And then as it does that, it updates the temperature profile and calculates the thaw depth for each year, and then stores that permafrost data that it just calculated and then plots those changes over the years. And then finally, I want to use a simple linear regression model to predict future permafrost depth if all goes well. And thank you.